really like Tysabri. When I was diagnosed with MS almost 8 years ago, I was told it was the best medication. I was diagnosed 8 years ago, but I didn't start treatment until 6 months after that. So I've been on it since like June of 2018. And I think it's great. I don't have any side effects from it. And I've had no new lesions since I started Tysabri. But last year, well, in 2025, I have a fairly new neurologist. I've had him for about a year and had a couple. I've probably had like 6 neurologists total. So I had a neurologist for a long time at Stanford, and then I transferred to I wanted to get care closer to where I live, but where I live, there's no neurologist. So I have to have an exemption form signed every 6 months to a year to see someone essentially out of network, out of my insurance. And I started seeing my new neurologist a little over a year ago, and he immediately was like, maybe you have a different type of MS. Because I had a really stressful year and like kind of, I guess, was having a flare up. And I just, from my reporting as a new patient to him, he assumed that maybe Tysabri wasn't working and that maybe I had progressive MS instead of relapsing and remitting. And it basically took a year and multiple MRIs for us to come back to the conclusion that Tysabri is the best and what I want to stay on until I absolutely have to be taken off of it. The risk with Tysabri is that it's associated with PML. So you have to make sure you're getting your JC virus testing. I'm still JC virus negative. So when my doctor was suggesting that maybe I needed to get off Tysabri, and then I did more research and I looked, and then I kind of started to believe him because I've been on it for so long, like 8 years, and most of the studies only go to a 7-year, and they all show an increased risk in PML and JC virus just with prolonged exposure to the medication. But for me, because I have zero side effects, it's not ideal to have to go every 6 weeks, but like when I can go every 6 weeks, it makes a big difference, especially compared to when I had to go every 4 weeks. And I can just drive myself and I can just get it done. It's like a very like private thing that I just do. And when they started talking about Ocrevus, it just sounded like I would need help. Like you have to take Benadryl and then also steroids. And I am, despite being a redhead, I'm like super sensitive to medication for whatever reason. And like even a Benadryl will knock me out. So I could just imagine like a 6-hour, 8-hour dose of medication on top of having to do a steroid and Benadryl just to be able to handle the medication. It just sounds really intense and not something I'm really wanting to sign up for, especially because it's also a B cell depleter. And I don't want to be sick all the time. Tysabri actually kind of, it doesn't lower your immune system, and some doctors have told me it actually maybe heightens it a little bit. So I've had a lot of really healthy years on Tysabri. Right after grad school, I nannied for about a year and I got really sick all the time with that baby. But ever since then, I really haven't had any consistent illness. And like my daughter just got strep throat and I didn't get it, so if I was on a B cell depleter, I truly believe that I would be sick all the time. And that sounds really miserable. And it also is just something that I don't feel like I can really volunteer for. Like when I look at my year and I say, okay, I'll transfer off Tysabri and I'll get on Ocrevus or Kesimpta and I'll make that transition, I feel like it would take me months to kind of adjust. And looking at my calendar, like I can't find a block of time where it makes sense to transfer to a new medication if I don't absolutely have to. Of course, I'm going to get off Tysabri if I have JC virus, and I would never do anything that would increase my risk of PML. But like when your only other options are B cell depleters, it's a little hard to want something else. So I don't know. But I am like, I'm up there with Tysabri being on it for 8 years. That's a long time. So you said that this comment, this person used to be on Tysabri, and I'm curious, like, what made you get off? Were you JC virus positive? And what have you gotten on instead? And do you miss Tysabri? Because that's sort of the thing that I hear. And it's interesting that my neurologist now is like so anti Tysabri, but he hates it because of the risk of PML. But when you look at the alternative drugs, they keep saying they have better ones, but I am not fully convinced. So I'm really curious that if you're on a different drug, if you like it, and how does it hold up or compare to Tysabri?